Seniors, these two vitamins can silently harm your feet after 60. Life after 60. Two vitamins you thought were good for you might be quietly weakening your legs after 60. Have you ever noticed your legs feeling weaker, heavier, maybe even a little more painful every time you stand too long or walk around the house? Do you find yourself breathing harder after just a few steps up the stairs? And what about those moments when you're simply standing at the stove making dinner and suddenly your knees ache, your calves start to tremble, and you feel like you need to sit down? If that sounds familiar, be careful, because what you think is good for your health could actually be what's silently breaking your strength down one step at a time. And the truth is, you'd probably never guess the real culprit. In today's episode, we're going to talk about two extremely common vitamins, the kind you might be taking every single day to boost your health, strengthen your bones, support your joints, or just stay ahead of illness. But here's the irony. Those very same vitamins may be slowly weakening your muscles, aching your knees, and chipping away at the balance in your legs. Even more concerning, these vitamins and the foods that go with them are likely part of your everyday meals. You're taking them with the best of intentions, trying to take care of yourself, stay mobile, keep your body strong. And yet, every pill, every bite, might be quietly contributing to your physical decline, especially in your legs. And the scary part, you don't even realize it's happening until one day you do. When healthy no longer means healthy after 60. Let's be honest for a moment. Have you ever bought vitamins thinking, the older I get, the more supplements I need? Have you taken vitamins because you believed they'd protect your bones, prevent osteoporosis, or keep your legs strong? If so, you're not alone. But here's what most people don't realize. Those very same vitamins, combined with certain foods that seem harmless, may be slowly wearing down your muscles and taking away your legs' ability to support your body the way they used to. What does that look like? You get tired faster. It's harder to stand up from a chair. You feel less steady on your feet, and somewhere deep inside you start wondering, am I going downhill too fast? What's really happening inside your body? Once you pass 60, your body starts going through some big shifts. Muscle mass begins to naturally decline. Your bones and joints become more sensitive. Blood circulation slows down, and your ability to absorb nutrients isn't what it used to be. But here's the problem. Most people keep eating, supplementing, and living like they did at 30. And that's when things start to unravel. Your body no longer matches what you once believed was right. And the longer you keep repeating old habits, sometimes without even realizing it, the more your legs suffer. They become weaker, less flexible, and far more prone to soreness, stiffness, and swelling. We'll talk about the first silent culprit next. But for now, here's what I want you to remember. Just because something was healthy for you at 35 doesn't mean it still is at 65. And what's at stake isn't just comfort, it's your ability to walk, to move, to stand on your own. So take a breath. We're just getting started. And what comes next may change the way you think about vitamins forever. One of the silent culprits, sugar and sweets. Let's start with something that seems so small: sugar. Cakes, candy, chocolate. Those sweet little desserts we treat ourselves to after a meal, especially in our later years. They feel comforting, familiar, like a warm hug on a hard day. But after 60, excess refined sugar becomes something else entirely, a slow, silent trigger of inflammation inside your body, especially in your muscles and joints. Chronic inflammation makes your muscles more prone to pain, your joints more sensitive, and your body's ability to recover after simple movement like walking or standing slows down significantly. And that's just the beginning. Sugar also increases insulin resistance, reducing your muscle cells' ability to use energy, leads to faster fatigue and weaker muscle performance, promotes weight gain, which puts extra pressure on your knees and ankles, slows down circulation in your lower body, leading to swelling, cold feet, or leg cramps. And the worst part, even if you're not eating a lot of sweets, sugar might still be hiding in places you don't expect, like boxed fruit juices, flavored breakfast cereals, and even in some vitamin-enriched gummies or chewables. Bottom line, that weak leg feeling, the joint stiffness, the muscle fatigue you chalk up to just getting older. It may actually be rooted in what you're eating and drinking every single day, believing it's good for your health. And the two popular vitamins we're going to talk about next. They may be the real reason behind your muscle loss, joint pain, and declining mobility. If you truly want to keep your legs strong, avoid imbalanced joint pain and fatigue. Maintain freedom and independence as you age. Stay with me, because what you're about to learn next might change how you think about vitamins and nutrition forever. Sugar and sweets, a sweet joy, with a heavy price for your legs. Your body, especially the muscles in your legs, needs steady oxygen and nutrients to recover after even small movements like walking or standing at the stove. But when circulation slows, your legs don't get what they need. The result, muscle repair stalls. Tissue recovery takes longer, and that familiar ache in your calves, that heaviness in your knees starts showing up more often than you'd like. And here's the thing. Sometimes it's not some major injury or deep health issue. Sometimes it's just a single slice of cake, a scoop of ice cream, a small joy paid for with the strength and resilience of your legs. Sweet, but nutrient empty. On top of all that, sugary foods are notoriously lacking in the nutrients your muscles need, most like protein and magnesium. In other words, you're filling up on what we call empty calories, calories that don't nourish your muscles or provide long-lasting energy. And when you're over 60, when your body is already naturally losing muscle mass with age, a nutrient-poor, sugar-heavy diet only makes things worse. You might be thinking, my legs are just getting weaker because I'm older. But sometimes it's not age. Sometimes it's just one little slice of cake, or a daily milk tea habit. A snack you thought was harmless, quietly trading your freedom of movement for a moment of sweetness. And in the long run, that's a trade far too costly to make. Chemical additives, the hidden danger. Most packaged sweets and mass-produced desserts today are loaded with chemical additives, including artificial colors, preservatives, synthetic flavors. These ingredients disrupt your body's natural balance, trigger stronger inflammatory responses, and directly affect your musculoskeletal system. When chemical additives combine with sugar, they create a toxic duo, one that your muscles and blood circulation can hardly defend against. A simple solution. Small shifts, big results. Here's the good news. You don't have to give up sweets entirely. You just need to make smarter choices. For example, sprinkle cinnamon on fruit instead of using sugary syrup. Make your own desserts at home with less sugar or natural alternatives like honey or dates. Limit packaged candy and snacks. Replace them with fresh fruit, roasted nuts, or plain yogurt. Your body will thank you for it. And your legs, they'll start to show the difference in just a few short weeks. Coming up next, French fries. Comfort food or poison for your knees? Let's be honest, crispy fries, golden fried chicken, warm glazed donuts. They're hard to resist, but after 60, the damage these deep-fried foods can do to your muscles and joints is something you can't afford to ignore. Bad fats, a double-edged sword. Fried potatoes, fried chicken, donuts. They're all packed with saturated fats and trans fats, the kind of fats that skyrocket inflammation in your body and directly attack your joints and muscles. What does that look like? Stiff legs, aching knees when you move, slower muscle recovery, heavy legs or foot numbness after meals. And it doesn't stop there. These bad fats also block blood flow, making it harder for oxygen and nutrients to reach your lower body. Poor circulation equals poor recovery. When your blood vessels are clogged by unhealthy fats, your nutrient supply slows to a crawl. Your muscles aren't being fed. They weaken. Your joints aren't getting what they need. They break down faster. And soon you find yourself struggling upstairs, avoiding standing for long periods. waking up at night with leg cramps. These aren't random signs of aging. They're red flags, and they're telling you it's time to rethink what you're putting on your plate, not just for your waistline, but for your freedom to move. Stay with me, because in the next part we'll talk about the 2 vitamins you thought were helping, but could be doing the exact opposite. The consequences go beyond. Just heavy legs, a diet high in fried foods, does more than leave you feeling sluggish. It contributes to rapid weight gain, and we all know. For every pound of extra weight, your legs carry the burden. And when your legs can no longer carry that burden with ease, what happens? Walking becomes harder, balance becomes shakier, and the risk of falling increases. Let's be honest. Have you ever noticed your legs feeling sore or heavier than usual after a fried meal? If so, it's not a coincidence. That's your body responding. Once you understand how damaging fried foods can be to your legs, it becomes clear why changing your daily diet isn't just helpful, it's urgent. But fried foods aren't the only culprit. There's another common food, one that shows up in nearly every breakfast plate, that may be quietly weakening your legs one bite at a time. Poor nutrition equals silent muscle loss, one meal at a time. A diet loaded with fried foods, refined carbs, low in fiber, and lacking protein creates a serious internal imbalance, especially in your muscles. And when muscle mass starts to decline, what do you lose? Stability, strength, confidence. Your legs begin to tremble. You feel weaker, and maintaining your balance becomes harder than it used to be. Suddenly, simple things like carrying your weight, climbing stairs, or walking safely around your home turn into daily challenges. Have you felt unsteady when walking, even though just a few years ago you were fine? Have you found yourself needing to hold the chair just to stand up? If so, your everyday breakfast. What seemed harmless may be quietly pushing you closer to losing your independence. White bread, a familiar morning staple with hidden risks. White bread, often found on the breakfast table and snacks, even at dinner, is one of the biggest silent contributors to muscle loss after 60. Why? Because white bread is made from refined flour, stripped of its fiber and most of its essential nutrients. What you're left with is a fast-absorbing carbohydrate that spikes your blood sugar right after you eat. Those spikes, they directly impact muscle function, especially in your legs, which require a lot of energy to stay strong and steady. And what does that feel like? You get tired after just a short walk. Your legs feel drained after standing for too long. You lose strength when trying to rise from a chair or climb stairs. An unbalanced diet leads to muscle loss, plain and simple. Eating white bread regularly, an ultra-processed food with low fiber, low protein, and a high glycemic index, leads to insulin resistance. That means the glucose from your food can't enter your muscle cells to be used for energy. And that leads to muscles running on empty, slower muscle recovery, progressive muscle shrinking, and weakness, especially in your legs. This is even more dangerous for older adults who are already experiencing natural muscle loss with age. In that context, white bread isn't just neutral. It becomes a trigger, fueling chronic inflammation and accelerating the decline of your leg strength, not just muscle loss. White bread also increases weight and pressure on your legs. Most white bread contains little to no protein or key minerals, so it does nothing to support muscle repair or strength. And for older adults, this is especially critical. After 60, your body needs more protein than ever to fight off sarcopenia, the age-related loss of muscle mass. Ignoring that need and eating white bread daily instead of real protein, that's a slow drain on your energy reserves, but it doesn't stop there. White bread often comes paired with margarine, cheese, jams, or sweet spreads, all of which pile on the calories and the weight. And as you already know, every pound gained is extra strain on your knees, ankles, and spine. So for legs that are already growing weaker with age, uncontrolled weight gain leads to more joint pain, higher inflammation, and a greater risk of falls and serious injury. The solution isn't to quit bread, it's to choose the right kind. You don't need to give up bread altogether. The key is to switch to better choices like 100% whole grain bread, naturally fermented sourdough, bread made from oats, flaxseed, or rye. These options provide gut-friendly fiber, help stabilize blood sugar, support digestive health, and most importantly, help maintain long-term muscle strength. Pair them with protein-rich toppings like eggs, nut butters, avocado, or lean meats, and you've got yourself a balanced breakfast that supports, not sabotages, your legs. Alcohol, the silent enemy of muscle and bone. After 60, if white bread is a common misstep, then alcohol is the quiet, dangerous companion that too often gets overlooked, especially in older adults. After 60, your body's ability to process alcohol drops significantly, and alcohol interferes with your ability to absorb key nutrients like calcium, magnesium, vitamin D. Without these nutrients, your muscles lose strength, your bones become brittle, and your risk of falling and breaking something skyrockets. But that's not all. Alcohol also slows your muscle recovery after even mild activity, leads to prolonged soreness, increases chronic fatigue, and makes your body more prone to injury even from something as small as bending down to pick something up, from a slice of white bread to a glass of wine. The cost of everyday habits, it might seem harmless. A slice of toast in the morning, a glass of wine at night to relax, but together they can slowly chip away at your ability to move, stand, and recover. Don't let familiar habits, repeated meal after meal, day after day, quietly erode the health you've spent a lifetime building. In the last section, we saw the real impact that white bread and alcohol can have on your muscles, your joints, and your overall mobility. Things that seem small, innocent even, can over time rob your body of its ability to regenerate. They weaken your legs day by day, and most people don't notice it until it's already advanced. But this isn't the end of the story, because there are still other common foods and drinks, ones that are still making their way into our kitchens every day, that could be causing hidden damage if we're not paying attention. Stay with me. What comes next may help you protect your legs, your balance, and your independence before it's too late. Alcohol, the hidden trigger behind dehydration, muscle soreness, and morning fatigue. Alcohol doesn't just interfere with nutrient absorption. It also causes significant dehydration, and what most people don't realize is this: it only takes a small drop in hydration to affect your muscles' ability to stretch, contract, and recover. When your muscles are even slightly dehydrated, you're far more likely to experience nighttime leg cramps, tightness in your calves, that strange, uncomfortable feeling that your legs just won't relax no matter what you do. And that's not all. Alcohol also affects your liver function, and your liver plays a key role in producing and synthesizing the compounds needed for healthy muscle tissue. When your liver isn't working at full capacity, your ability to rebuild and repair muscle after movement is severely compromised. Have you ever woken up after a night out feeling completely drained, your legs heavy, your joints burning? If you have, that's your body waving a red flag. Alcohol isn't just a temporary irritant, it's quietly wearing you down from the inside. Alcohol and invisible weight gain. The problem doesn't stop at your joints or muscles. Alcohol is also one of the biggest drivers of belly fat. Why? Because most alcoholic drinks are packed with empty calories, meaning they contain no nutrients, offer no support for your muscles or circulation, and instead get stored as fat, usually around the abdomen and hips. And you already know belly fat equals more weight equals more pressure on your legs. Every extra pound adds strain to your knees, ankles, and spine. And for a body that's already losing muscle mass with age, even just a few extra pounds added slowly through a couple drinks a week can have serious consequences for your ability to move freely and live independently. Silent inflammation, when alcohol turns your body against itself. Drinking regularly also increases chronic inflammation throughout the body. And when your body is constantly in a low-level fight with itself, it leads to swollen, aching joints, ongoing muscle fatigue, a lack of motivation to move, poor sleep, and slow recovery. And as those effects pile up, what happens? You move less. Your legs weaken, and gradually you begin to lose your independence. The saddest part, this decline often happens slowly, quietly, until one day you realize you can't get up as easily. Or worse, not at all. Processed meats. Convenient, but quietly harmful. Have you noticed things like sausage, ham, bacon, and cold cuts often seem like the go-to choice for older adults, especially those living alone? They're quick, easy, familiar, but behind that convenience lies a serious risk, especially for your legs. These processed meats often contain very high sodium, leading to water retention, high blood pressure, and joint swelling. Preservatives and chemical additives, triggering inflammation in muscle tissue. Saturated fats, reducing circulation, increasing bad cholesterol, and weakening muscles. The result: stiff knees every morning, mild but persistent ankle pain, quick calf fatigue even during slow, short walks. None of these symptoms happen overnight, but they build, one meal at a time, one shortcut at a time. And without realizing it, your diet, though simple and familiar, may be setting you up for a steady, silent decline in strength and stability. In the next section, we'll talk about two of the most misunderstood vitamins, the very ones people over 60 often turn to for help. But that might actually be doing the opposite. Stay with me. This next part may be the missing link between your current habits and the freedom your legs are quietly asking for. Poor circulation means undernourished leg muscles. When you eat processed meats regularly, the small blood vessels in your legs take a direct hit. Blood flow is reduced, oxygen and nutrients become scarce, muscle regeneration slows dramatically, and the result: your muscles lose strength, gradual muscle atrophy over time, and each day you feel just a little weaker without knowing why. But there's another problem: toxic buildup. Your liver and kidneys are responsible for filtering toxins from your blood. But when you consume too many preservatives and chemicals, especially from processed meats, those organs get overwhelmed. And when your liver and kidneys are overworked, toxins remain in the bloodstream. Fatigue becomes constant, and a dull, lingering pain shows up in your joints and muscles. Worse still, many preservatives negatively affect how your body processes glucose, leaving your muscles underfueled, tired and heavy for longer periods of time. The solution isn't extremes, it's smart substitutions. You don't have to cut everything out overnight. Start with small, intelligent swaps. Replace sausages with boiled or fried eggs. Swap deli ham with shredded chicken breast. Trade bacon for avocado, olive oil, or pan-seared salmon. Just these simple changes can lighten the load on your liver, improve blood flow, help your muscles recover faster, and make your legs feel lighter, more flexible, and more energized every day. See the difference between convenient flavor and the freedom to move. Between quick meals and long-term health. Sometimes the difference is made in just one small meal each day. In our last section, we uncovered the real toll of processed meats and alcohol, two everyday choices that may seem harmless, but silently sabotage your joints, your muscles, and your ability to move freely. But the list of hidden threats doesn't end there. There's one more culprit, cheap, fast, and found in nearly every household that might be doing even more damage than you realize. And that culprit is instant noodles. Instant noodles. A quick meal, but a nightmare for your muscles at first glance. Instant noodles seem like a lifesaver on tired days. No cooking, no planning, just a warm, easy bowl of comfort. But the truth, instant noodles are a nutritional desert high. In calories, low in fiber, low in protein, and practically void of the essential micronutrients your muscles depend on. What's inside that little packet? Refined wheat flour, preservatives, artificial flavoring, and almost nothing that actually nourishes your body. The long-term consequences: loss of muscle mass, decline in mobility, and most concerning of all, legs that can no longer reliably support your body. These effects don't show up overnight, But day after day, meal after meal, they add up. And eventually you feel it every time you try to stand, climb stairs, or simply walk across the room. High sodium. The hidden reason your legs feel swollen and heavy. One of the biggest issues with instant noodles is their excessively high sodium content. Just one packet can contain more than half of your entire day's recommended sodium intake. And what does too much sodium do? It causes water retention, making your legs feel swollen and heavy. It raises blood pressure, restricting healthy blood flow to your muscles. It deprives your muscles of oxygen, delaying recovery after movement. It causes dull, aching pain, especially in your calves and ankles. Have you ever eaten a bowl of noodles in the evening and felt like your legs were puffed up, weighed down, like they were full of lead? That's not your imagination. That's a real physiological response to sodium overload. Flavor packets. Taste enhancers that quietly damage your muscles and joints. And it doesn't stop at salt. Inside that little seasoning packet that makes your noodles taste so good, you'll often find MSG, monosodium glutamate, artificial colorings and flavorings, preservatives and chemical additives. These ingredients have been linked to chronic low-grade inflammation, especially in your joints and muscle tissue. And that kind of long-term internal inflammation can lead to stiff joints every morning, ongoing leg fatigue even with minimal activity, lingering joint pain that doesn't go away easily even after rest. High glycemic index. How instant noodles spike your blood sugar and drain your strength. Instant noodles have another dangerous trait. They have a very high glycemic index. Why? Because they're made with refined white flour, stripped of fiber, and loaded with fast-digesting carbs. The result, your blood sugar spikes quickly after eating. Insulin gets thrown out of balance, and glucose, the fuel your muscles need, can't enter your muscle cells effectively. It's like trying to drive a car with no gas. Your muscles become exhausted, weak, and unable to perform even after just a few steps. Suddenly, walking to the market, something you once did with ease, feels like hiking uphill. Packaged cakes, sweet, tempting, and a dangerous trap for aging legs. Now let's talk about another familiar comfort food: packaged pastries and cakes. They're soft, sweet, fragrant, and behind that sweetness lies a harmful mix of refined sugar, trans fats, preservatives, artificial dyes, and flavor chemicals. This combo creates a fake nutrition bomb, tasty on the outside, damaging on the inside, especially for your muscles and mobility. More fat, less muscle, slower circulation. Refined sugar disrupts insulin function. It encourages fat to build up, particularly around your belly and thighs. That extra fat increases your overall weight, which adds massive pressure to your knees, ankles, and hips. Meanwhile, trans fats added to make pastries last longer and taste richer do this. Lower your good cholesterol, raise your bad cholesterol, block your capillaries, cutting off nutrient flow to your leg muscles. The result, your muscles go undernourished, your legs feel weaker by the day, and your risk of joint pain, swelling, and long-term damage skyrockets. The long-term impact: chronic inflammation, muscle pain, and loss of mobility. Eating packaged pastries on a regular basis doesn't just satisfy a craving. It quietly sets off a chain reaction that can reshape your health over time. It increases chronic inflammation throughout your body, leads to joint pain, especially in the knees and hips, gradually contributes to muscle loss, and before you know it, you've entered a dangerous cycle: sweet treats, inflammation, sore muscles, less movement, more muscle loss, more fatigue. The result: walking becomes harder. Sitting too long makes your legs ache. Standing up leaves your knees trembling. Taste is never worth the trade-off. Yes, those pastries smell amazing. They're soft, comforting. They feel like a treat, something small to lift your spirits, but they offer almost no real nutrients. No protein, no calcium, no magnesium, all of which are essential to keep your muscles and bones strong, especially after 60. So what are you really feeding your body? Empty calories. It's like forcing your engine to run on low-quality fuel. Eventually, that engine breaks down and your legs, your mobility, your independence suffer the cost. After 60, convenience and taste shouldn't be your only guide, because sometimes that quick bowl of noodles or that pastry just to get you by is quietly chipping away at the very strength and freedom you've worked your whole life to protect. So now you might be asking, what can I enjoy that's still safe for my legs? The good news: you can still enjoy good food as long as you make smarter choices. The biggest difference isn't in the flavor, it's in how the food treats your body in the long run. Homemade treats, when you choose the right ingredients. Your legs will thank you if you bake at home using wholesome ingredients like whole grain flour, fresh fruit, natural oils like extra virgin olive or cold-pressed coconut oil. Then you're walking a completely different path. A slice of homemade cake made with clean, nutrient-rich ingredients can add fiber to your diet, help control blood sugar, provide steady energy to your muscles, and once you retrain your taste buds to enjoy the natural sweetness of ripe fruit instead of refined sugar, your body will reward you with lighter, more energized steps, sharper focus, and more flexible, stronger calves in the morning. Processed cheese, the creamy comfort food that quietly hurts your legs. Let's talk about another familiar food, one that shows up in breakfast snacks or quick meals: processed cheese. We're talking about meltable cheese slices, cheese sticks or shredded cheese, canned cheese spreads. They're convenient, tasty, easy to use, but for your legs, joints, and blood vessels, especially after 60, they can be a serious threat. Sodium and saturated fat, the duo that attacks your joints and blood vessels. Processed cheese products often contain high levels of sodium salt, which causes water retention, leading to swollen, heavy, aching legs. Saturated fats, which make blood vessels stiff and slow down circulation. Put the two together and what do you get? Legs that feel numb as if made of stone, difficulty walking or standing for long periods, muscle recovery that takes longer even after light movement, mineral imbalance, a breakdown that starts from within. Industrial-style cheeses are also packed with preservatives and synthetic phosphates, which interfere with your body's ability to absorb critical minerals like calcium, essential for strong bones, magnesium, vital for smooth, healthy muscle function. When your body can't absorb or regulate these properly, you might start noticing calf cramps at night, a dull, nagging ache in your joints, legs that fatigue easily even after a short walk. Take a moment. Have you ever eaten a grilled cheese sandwich or processed cheese melt, and afterward just wanted to sit down and not move? That wasn't just in your head. It's your body responding to inflammatory foods that quietly drain your minerals and leave your muscles less capable of supporting you. The hidden cost of fake protein. Unlike natural cheeses like ricotta or fresh cottage cheese, highly processed cheeses are stripped of most of their quality protein. So what happens? You're consuming calories, but not the amino acids your muscles need. Your muscles don't get the support they need to repair and rebuild after activity. And with each passing day, your muscle mass shrinks along with your ability to stay balanced and steady on your feet. A small switch can change everything. Instead of reaching for processed cheese, try fresh cheeses like ricotta or cottage cheese, naturally aged soft cheeses with minimal ingredients, spreads made from avocado nut butters or hard-boiled eggs in place of cheese slices. Your body will feel lighter, your muscles will recover faster, and your legs will thank you with every stronger, steadier step. Industrial ice cream, the cool treat that leaves your joints aching. Let's talk about one more sweet favorite: ice cream. It's the go-to dessert on a hot summer day or after a nice dinner. But industrial ice cream, the kind you grab from the grocery store freezer, may be one of the worst offenders when it comes to weakening your legs and increasing your risk of falls. Why? Because it contains large amounts of refined sugar, saturated fats, synthetic additives and preservatives, blood sugar roller coaster, unstable energy for your muscles. When you eat ice cream, your blood sugar spikes rapidly. That triggers a surge of insulin, And soon after, your blood sugar crashes just as fast. The result: your muscles lose access to steady, reliable energy. You feel tired, drained quicker than usual, and your legs noticeably weaken after every sugary treat. The impact on circulation: when blood struggles to reach your legs, the saturated fat in ice cream, especially the cheaper, heavily processed kinds, causes blood vessels to tighten, which restricts oxygen flow, and that affects your legs directly. Numbness, aches, heaviness, cramps in your ankles, calves that fatigue faster and recover slower. Over time, when your muscles don't get enough oxygen-rich blood, you begin to experience muscle weakness, poor balance, a significant increase in fall risk. What feels like a reward might be robbing your strength. We often tell ourselves it's just one scoop of ice cream, what harm could it do? But when that indulgence becomes a habit, week after week, year after year, you start to see the effects. Slower steps, holding the railing every time you take the stair, needing to stretch your legs after sitting just to ease the pain. And then one day you quietly ask yourself, what's happening to my leg? In the last section, we uncovered the unsettling truth behind something as simple and sweet as store-bought ice cream. It may feel like a harmless treat, a way to reward yourself after a long day, but in reality, it's slowly draining the strength from your legs. And now it's time to go deeper. Because ice cream isn't the only innocent snack doing hidden damage. There are other common treats just as familiar that may be leaving a long-term mark on your muscles, joints, and mobility. Factory-made ice cream. Cold and sweet, but burning you from the inside out. The danger doesn't end with sugar and saturated fat. Industrial ice cream is also loaded with artificial colorings, emulsifiers used to improve texture, synthetic thickeners. They may make your ice cream look smoother and taste better, but behind the scenes, they act as silent inflammation triggers. And inflammation is one of the root causes of joint degeneration. Chronic muscle pain, persistent fatigue with no clear reason. This is especially concerning for anyone over 60. At that age, your digestive system and hormones are already more sensitive. And these additives can throw off your body's ability to absorb nutrients, particularly the ones your muscles rely on for strength and recovery. Empty calories. You're eating plenty, but your body's starving. Industrial ice cream brings almost no real nutritional value. It's packed with calories, but almost completely lacking in what your body actually needs. It doesn't support muscle building. It doesn't help repair tissue. It doesn't provide steady, lasting energy. So even though it tastes cool and comforting, that lingering heaviness, that fatigue that won't go away, it sticks with you and often gets worse. And the impact on your legs, your muscles start to lose their tone. You feel pain every time you walk. Your endurance noticeably drops. Each spoonful of ice cream may feel small, but every bite is quietly stealing your body's ability to recover, rebuild, and regain strength. Milk chocolate, a favorite treat with hidden consequences. Much like ice cream, milk chocolate is a go-to comfort snack, especially after meals or during slow afternoons. But here's what most people don't know. Eating milk chocolate regularly, especially after 60, can be a real risk to your leg health. What's in it? Very high sugar content, saturated fats, little to no real cacao. Sugar plus saturated fat equals a double burden on your joints and muscles. That combo, refined sugar and unhealthy fats, creates a dangerous duo. Chronic inflammation rises, metabolism becomes disrupted, and your muscle energy becomes unpredictable and unbalanced. When your blood sugar spikes, insulin kicks in to stabilize it. But those sharp highs and lows throw your muscle system into chaos. What happens? You lose energy. Your legs get tired faster. You feel sore even after light activity. Missing cacao equals missing key antioxidants. Pure cacao is rich in flavonoids which improve blood flow, protect your blood vessels, help muscle recovery. But in mass-produced milk chocolate, the cacao content is shockingly low. What you get instead is artificial sweeteners, chemical preservatives, and both have been shown to stress the liver and pancreas, reduce the body's ability to absorb nutrients needed for muscle health. The result: legs that tire out faster, random uncomfortable muscle spasms, stiff joints, and a loss of flexibility when you walk. Even the smallest treat can make a big impact when repeated every day. So before you reach for that chocolate bar or another scoop of dessert, ask yourself, is this treat feeding my muscles or slowly taking my strength away? And there's more. Belly fat, the silent threat. Milk chocolate isn't just sugar and fat. It's also one of the sneakiest contributors to belly fat, especially dangerous for those who live a more sedentary lifestyle. And that excess fat adds pressure on your knees and ankles, weighs down your lower body, makes each step feel heavier and harder. Over time, the combination of extra fat, weakened joints, and tired muscles leads to less movement, higher injury risk, and a cycle of muscle loss, declining strength, and fading independence. The simple fix: choose higher cacao chocolate and eat it mindfully. Here's the good news. You don't have to give up your favorite chocolate entirely. Just make smarter swaps. Choose dark chocolate with at least 70% cacao. Eat small portions, preferably after a balanced meal. Pair it with a fiber-rich diet and gentle physical activity. Dark chocolate is rich in flavonoids, which have been shown to boost circulation, support vascular health, improve muscle function and recovery. Canned foods, convenient on the surface, but a heavy burden inside. Finally, let's talk about something that's probably sitting in your pantry right now. Canned foods. They're convenient. They last a long time. They seem like a practical choice, especially if you live alone. But here's what most people don't realize: canned foods are often loaded with sodium benzoate nitrites, artificial coloring, chemical preservatives, and flavor enhancers. These additives can trigger chronic low-grade inflammation, weaken blood vessels, interfere with muscle repair and tissue regeneration. Excess salt, the leading cause of swollen, heavy legs. To preserve shelf life, most canned goods are packed with excess salt. And if you eat them regularly, you may start to feel legs that feel heavy, like they're weighed down by bricks, tingling or stiffness in your feet, swelling around your ankles and calves after standing for a while. Excess sodium causes the body to retain water, but it doesn't provide the nutrients your muscles actually need. In fact, it places extra strain on your heart and circulatory system, making it harder for blood to reach your legs. The result: fatigued, weak muscles, slow recovery after movement, and a growing disconnect between what your body needs and what your meals provide. Canned foods, what's left behind is empty calories and metabolic stress. Here's what's most concerning. Even when canned foods are made from vegetables or meats, the industrial processing they go through strips away most of their original nutrients. What's left behind? A diet low in nutrition, high in empty calories, and a heavy metabolic burden on your liver, kidneys, and heart. So instead of nourishing your body, you're forcing it to fight off the chemical byproducts of what you just ate. And the consequences: ongoing fatigue, weak energy, drained legs, and almost no capacity to recover after even the simplest physical activity. Aluminum from cans. Small amounts, but a silent accumulation. Even in tiny quantities, aluminum from the lining of canned foods, especially if heated or stored improperly, can build up in the body over time. Studies have shown aluminum may negatively impact the central nervous system. It can disrupt muscle function and significantly increase the risk of falls, poor balance, and reduced mobility in older adults. It's a silent, invisible risk, but very real, and fortunately easily avoidable by reducing or eliminating canned foods from your regular diet. There are plenty of safer alternatives: fresh or frozen vegetables, home-cooked meats and fish, naturally dried foods with no chemicals or preservatives. The right choices protect your independence. Every meal you choose today is an investment in your ability to move freely and live independently in the future. Cooking with fresh ingredients, avoiding synthetic additives doesn't just help you feel lighter, sleep better, and have more energy. It also promotes better circulation, enhances muscle repair, keeps your knees, ankles, and joints more flexible day after day. If you think only processed foods are the problem, think again. Up next, we're talking about a food group that many people still consume every single day. It seems harmless, a casual snack, but it could be accelerating muscle loss and making your legs noticeably weaker after 60. Cream-filled cookies and packaged snacks. The sweet, crunchy trap. At spot number 4, we've got a familiar lineup: cream-filled cookies, crunchy snacks, salty crackers. They're chosen because they're convenient, portable, tasty, and especially easy to munch on while watching TV or passing time. But after 60, these aren't just harmless treats. They're daily energy thieves, especially if you're not paying attention. Artificial additives. A slow attack from liver to kidneys, disrupting circulation. These packaged cookies and snack foods often contain artificial dyes, artificial flavors, preservatives, stabilizers. For an aging body, these chemicals are harder to process and eliminate, especially if your liver or kidneys have already begun slowing down with age. When those detox systems get overwhelmed, your circulation becomes disrupted. Nutrient absorption for muscle repair gets interrupted. Muscles don't recover properly after even mild activity. And the result, legs that tire easily, a shaky, unstable gait, and slower recovery after movement or exercise. These snacks may seem small, but over time their impact is anything but. Stay with me, because we're getting closer to understanding how seemingly innocent food habits add up, and more importantly, how to make easy swaps that support, not sabotage, your strengths. High in calories. Low in nutrition. Losing muscle without realizing it. Most cookies and packaged snacks are low in protein, lacking essential minerals, almost completely void of fiber. They may deliver a lot of calories, but none of the building blocks your body needs to preserve muscle mass. And for anyone over 60, that's not just inconvenient, it's dangerous. As we age, our bodies don't store or absorb nutrients as efficiently, which means every meal matters more. You need meals that nourish, not just fill. Trans fats, the silent strike against your blood vessels. Many packaged snacks are made with trans fats, a form of man-made fat known to cause inflammation and speed up degeneration in the body. Trans fats clog tiny blood vessels that feed your muscles, restrict oxygen and nutrient delivery to your legs, leave your muscles feeling tired, weak, and unstable. Your body never lies. If you've started feeling winded after climbing stairs, or noticed your legs tire faster after standing too long, it may not be aging alone. It could be that harmless snack you've been reaching for. Too much salt. Swollen legs, numbness, and cramps on top of sugar and bad fats. Most snack foods are loaded with excess sodium, and that leads to water retention in the legs, swollen ankles and calves, sluggish circulation that causes pain and stiffness by evening. Have you ever felt your legs puff up, ache, or throb until you had to massage them or prop them up just to feel relief? Chances are that snack you had yesterday afternoon was more than just a quick bite. It was a trigger. In the last section, we looked at processed snacks and canned goods foods that seem harmless on the surface but quietly chip away at your strength and mobility day by day. But here's the thing few people realize. The more we rely on processed food, the faster our ability to maintain muscle and balance declines. Industrial energy bars, fake fuel that costs you real muscle energy bars. Protein bars, they look like a quick and healthy fix, but many are just processed blocks of sugar syrup and additives providing very little actual nourishment. When you replace real meals with industrial bars, your body slowly loses the ability to maintain muscle mass, stamina, and flexibility, and the steady energy that supports mobility and strength. But there's a better way. Just return to simple, real foods like fresh fruit, whole grains, boiled eggs, or a handful of nuts. And you'll notice the difference in how you move, how you feel, and how strong your legs stay. Hidden culprit number 3. MSG, the flavor enhancer that quietly weakens your legs. Now, let's talk about MSG, monosodium glutamate. It's everywhere in seasoning packets, instant noodles, frozen meals, canned soups. It's used to make food taste better, richer, more savory, more satisfying. But behind that flavor lies a silent threat to your nervous system, muscles, and circulation. MSG and the nervous system. When your muscles stop listening. MSG affects neurotransmitters, the chemical signals that tell your muscles when to contract and when to relax. And as we age, our nervous systems become more sensitive to chemical stimulants. Too much MSG can lead to mysterious muscle pain, tingling or numbness in your arms or legs, mental fatigue, heaviness in your head, even low-grade headaches. And for your legs, tightness that's hard to shake, that familiar heavy as stone feeling, even a subtle trembling even when you're just sitting still. MSG, a silent inflammation trigger that wears down your muscles and blood vessels beyond its impact on the nervous system. MSG, monosodium glutamate, is a powerful inflammation trigger, and it doesn't stop at your brain. It affects your joints, peripheral blood vessels, deep muscle tissues in your thighs and calves. This kind of chronic inflammation causes poor circulation to the legs, reduced oxygen and nutrients reaching the muscles, weakness, fatigue, and slow recovery after movement. Over time, eating foods high in MSG increases your risk of muscle loss, leg cramps, joint pain, and reduced mobility, water retention, and high blood pressure. A scary side effect. MSG is rarely found alone. In processed foods, it's often paired with excess sodium, creating a toxic combo for aging bodies. The results: fluid retention in your legs, swollen ankles and calves, increased blood pressure which taxes your heart and circulatory system, restricted blood flow to your arms and legs, especially your feet. You start to feel legs that feel heavy, bloated, swollen. Each step becomes a strain. Even simple tasks like climbing stairs or a short walk feel unusually exhausting. Disrupted muscle energy, a hidden impact few talk about. Here's something even less discussed. MSG may interfere with how your muscles use glucose, the body's primary energy source. What does that mean? Even if you're eating enough, your muscles can't absorb energy effectively. You feel weak and fatigued even without much movement. Over time, your muscle mass declines and relying on others for daily tasks becomes unavoidable. Hidden in plain sight. MSG goes by many names. Think you've cut MSG out of your diet? Think again. MSG doesn't always appear on labels as monosodium glutamate. It often hides behind vague, misleading terms like yeast extract, hydrolyzed protein, flavor enhancers, or even natural seasoning. If you spot these in your ingredients list, be cautious. You may still be consuming MSG without realizing it. The simple fix: go back to real whole spices instead of relying on instant flavor packets and factory-made seasonings. Try nature's originals: fresh garlic, onion, and ginger, lemon, chili, kaffir, lime leaves, extra virgin olive oil, and fresh herbs. These options not only make your meals flavorful, they also lighten the load on your liver and kidneys. Don't trigger inflammation. Support long-term muscle strength, healthy joints, and better mobility. And now, the most shocking truth of all: 2 vitamins you thought were good may actually be damaging your leg muscles if taken in excess. Coming up next, we're going to expose 2 of the most common vitamins found in nearly every senior's supplement cabinet. They're well-known, widely used, and generally considered essential. But when taken in the wrong amounts, they may quietly be causing muscle loss, leg fatigue, and slower recovery after even light physical activity. Vitamin A, the classic too much of a good thing trap. Vitamin A plays a key role in vision, immune health, skin support. But after age 60, your body becomes less efficient at processing and eliminating excess vitamin A. especially when taken in supplement form. And when that excess builds up, it stores in your liver, triggers joint inflammation and muscle pain, especially in the legs and lower back. Muscle pain from vitamin A, often mistaken for arthritis. Common symptoms of vitamin A overload include a dull, lingering ache in your thighs or calves, difficulty climbing stairs, leg fatigue when rising from a chair. All things we tend to blame on aging or chronic joint issues, but they could actually be signs that you've been taking too much vitamin A for too long. Excess vitamin A disrupts absorption of critical minerals. Too much vitamin A interferes with your body's ability to absorb magnesium and calcium, two minerals vital for healthy muscle contraction and relaxation, preventing leg cramps, keeping bones strong and stable. When your body falls short on these minerals, you may start to experience nighttime leg cramps, ongoing leg fatigue, increased joint pain, and a higher risk of imbalance or falling. We've just uncovered the surprising danger of vitamin A, a nutrient that, while essential, can quietly become harmful to your legs if overused. But that's not the end of the story. There's another familiar name, one that almost every older adult is taking daily, and if used incorrectly, it may steal your mobility and even your independence. When the liver gets overloaded, the whole body starts to lose strength. As vitamin A builds up in the liver, it slows your body's ability to generate energy, and that hits your muscles first. You may start noticing legs that tire more easily, slower recovery after walks or chores, a subtle but steady loss of strength and flexibility. And the most affected areas: your legs and hips, the very bones and joints that carry your full body weight every day. Too much vitamin A has also been linked to mineral loss in the bones, making them more brittle, more prone to fractures, and at greater risk for serious injury after a fall. And if you already have a history of osteoporosis, this damage could accelerate dramatically. Vitamin A from food: more than enough to stay healthy. The good news: vitamin A occurs naturally in many common foods, including animal liver, egg yolks, whole milk, carrots, pumpkin, and squash. With a balanced diet rich in vegetables and natural sources of protein, your body likely gets all the vitamin A. It needs no high-dose supplements required. So where does the danger come from? Taking vitamin A supplements without medical guidance, using multiple fortified foods like cereal, dairy, or drinks without tracking your total intake. The key is this: you must account for vitamin A from both food and supplements, especially if you take a multivitamin daily. Vitamin D, from golden nutrient to a burden on your legs. If misused, vitamin D is usually linked to bone strength, calcium absorption, immune support, and it's one of the most frequently recommended supplements for older adults. But here's what many don't realize: when taken in excess or without proper monitoring, vitamin D can quietly cause serious problems, especially for your legs. Excess vitamin D, it builds up quietly, then starts causing trouble. Unlike water-soluble vitamins, vitamin D is fat-soluble. That means it doesn't leave your body easily through urine. It accumulates in fat tissue, the liver, and other organs. When too much builds up, you may develop vitamin D toxicity, also called hypervitaminosis D. Common symptoms include persistent muscle aches, vague, unexplained fatigue, a subtle loss of smooth, coordinated movement, high calcium levels, muscle cramps, stiffness, and joint pain. Too much vitamin D causes your blood calcium levels to rise, a condition known as hypercalcemia. What happens next? Aching muscles and joints, frequent leg cramps, stiff calves, thighs, and knees, tingling or burning sensations in your hands and feet. It's not just uncomfortable. These symptoms can make walking, climbing stairs, or simply standing up from a chair harder with each passing day. Listen to your body. With vitamin D, more isn't always better. In some cases, excess calcium triggered by too much vitamin D may start to deposit in soft tissue such as muscles, tendons, and joints. And the result: joints lose flexibility, Calves and thighs become stiff and sore after exertion. Muscles lose elasticity, increasing your risk of falling. Your kidneys, the silent victim of vitamin D. Misuse: when you take too much vitamin D, one of the organs that suffers most without a sound is your kidney. The kidney is your body's natural filter. It cleans your blood, balances minerals, and helps regulate fluid levels. But when it's overwhelmed, filtering becomes inefficient. Excess calcium starts to build up, raising your blood pressure and causing fluid retention. You may experience leg swelling, muscle fatigue, and a constant sense of exhaustion. And just like that, a vicious cycle begins. You take more vitamin D. Your calcium levels spike. Your kidneys become overloaded. You feel even more tired, your legs ache, and you assume, maybe I need even more vitamins. The real lesson: guided supplementation is always safer than guesswork. Most people assume, well, it's just vitamins. The danger's in deficiency, not excess, right? But the truth is, too much of certain vitamins, especially fat-soluble ones like A and D, can be just as dangerous as not getting enough. You should only supplement with vitamin A or D when you've received clear instructions from your doctor. You've had lab work or blood tests confirming a deficiency. You've factored in all sources, both from food and supplements. Final thoughts, and a message just for you. Aging doesn't mean surrendering to weakness. You absolutely can walk with confidence, climb stairs without holding on, live independently without relying on others for every little task, enjoy your life more fully with less pain and more ease. How? By starting with the smallest things, like understanding how vitamins really work, choosing the right foods, and most importantly, listening to your body. If this video helped you better understand the risks of misguided vitamin use, hit the like button to support our team. Comment below with something you learned or share a personal experience about taking vitamins the wrong way. Don't forget to subscribe to Life After 60 and tap the notification bell so you never miss another video designed specifically for your health, strength, and freedom after 60. Because strong legs aren't just about movement. They're the foundation of an active, independent, and joyful life. Start protecting them today.